Well, morning everyone, a very warm welcome, and yes, in the background we are back at Marquis Motorhomes in Tewkesbury. Memorable day a couple of years ago when we travelled here to collect our Mobilvetta K-Yacht 79 A-Class motorhome, which is a 7.44 metre A-Class motorhome. Fantastic memories, very exciting day it was. But they've got one or two new K-Yachts in here and a couple of Benimar Tesoros, and we've had quite a few questions about our K-Yacht 79 in terms of layout, why we chose what we chose, and there's a bit more detail on that on the channel, so do check out some of the films on our channel which look at our 79 in detail. But to help answer some of those questions, I thought we'd come back to Marquis Motorhomes at Tewkesbury and show you in detail some of the other Mobilvetta models. So without further ado, let's get back into the dealership and show you the first of today's vehicle. Do check across the channel for the films that we're going to bring you from here. And therefore, without further ado, we're going to dive into one of the Mobilvettas and start to show you around some of these fantastic motorhomes here at Tewkesbury. So this one is the K-Yacht Tekno Line 86. Mobilvetta obviously are the makers. A lot of the interior is sort of Italian styled A-Class motorhome. Mobilvetta based in Italy, and then these Mobilvettas sold in the UK exclusively by Marquis Motorhomes. It's a 7.45 metre A-Class, and this one, which we'll look at, is the 86, is very slightly different to the 80, which we'll also look at, and check out the channel for the film of the 80 if you want to have a good look at that. The 86 is the twin beds at the rear here, and obviously it can be added to with an additional cushion that I'll show you in a moment, which obviously makes it into one massive double, which obviously differs very slightly from the 80, which has got the L-shaped lounge at the back and the electric drop-down bed as one of the doubles. So both offer double beds at front and rear. Just a very slightly different configuration, as you'll see inside. So the K-Yacht 86 here at Marquis, it's brand new. It's 112,995, and the great thing about all of these A-Class Mobilvettas is that they've now uprated them all to 4.4 tonne. Now I know obviously that means that you have to have the C1 category licence to drive them, but it does the massive advantage, and we've found it extremely useful when travelling in Europe and the UK, is to have a really good payload. And the payload for all of these Tekno lines is up around the 1 tonne mark, in fact just over 1 tonne, just over 1,000 kilograms. Which is a formidable amount of payload, but actually when you start adding all your bits and bobs to it that you travel around Europe with, we also tow a little scooter as well, but when you add all that together, it does give you real peace of mind when travelling, that you're not constantly trying to have to worry about what you can or can't add to your vehicle. And I'll talk a little bit more about mass in running order as we look through some of these vehicles. So anyway, we'll start from the front, work our way back and round. On the outside, first of all, you can see obviously you've got your fresh water inlet there, which is of course just next to our mains hookup, where we've been kindly hooked up today by Marquis, which will allow me to show you some of the lighting and other features in the once we get inside the van. This is your gas locker, obviously. Room for two very easy 2 6s in here, 2 6 kilo propanes. We when we were in Europe, we ran with 1 6 and 1 13, and the reason why I didn't do 2 13s was because the catch on our K-Yacht 79 Mobilvetta, once you close that door, the 13 is such a big propane. Those of you who know your gas bottles will know the 13's a pretty good size. It meant that you weren't quite able to operate that catch on ours, so I run with a 13 and a 6, which has been fantastic in Europe. And in fact, we've just finished 6 weeks in France and Spain, and only got through about 7 kilos of gas, so 1 6 and then a tiny bit of the my backup 13 kilo. So despite a lot of off-gridding, we were able to not run on much gas at all, which was fantastic. Immediately next to that, you've got your toilet cassette entrance. Just pop the door open there, you'll see the cassette ready to go. There's a little blue clip under there which you just lift that up and it allows you to slide it out. This one obviously is yet to be fitted with its cap and one or two other bits and bobs, but it is as simple as that. The cassette just slides out, and then when it comes to time of emptying, you merely swing this bit round like that, unscrew your cap, and then whilst holding that little blue button at the back just there, which allows the air to come in one end, you obviously tip it up, out it goes. So it's a very easy process. You can add a bit of toilet green or your toilet chemical when you put it back in, and jobs are good and all done and very simple to do. That's your exhaust there for your heating system. This one is an Aldi wet heating system, which we'll see as we go around the van. But one really good plus for these for this K-Yacht 86 is the size of the garage in them. This is identical, almost identical I should say, to our K-Yacht 79, in that it's got a really good space in the back here. We had 2 electric bikes in the back here, pedal bikes that is, but I've also seen others that have set them up with a motorbike scooter carrier in here. So it does offer a really good size and dimensions to allow you to fit some of those extras in. In fact, while I'm at it, I might as well just give you a quick idea of the size here. So if we drop the measure up, so from the base of the van up to the roof there is 1.19 meters, and then if we just measure completely across the van to give you an idea of the width here, just see the laser on the door over there, and that comes in at 2.188 meters, so fantastic size. And finally, might as well just give you the third one as well. The width there is just over a metre at 1.039 metres. Great size, plenty to fit in there, but it's also home to 3-point plug there for external power. Great, we use ours in our garage of our motorhome for things like the air pump for our kayak that we carry in the back, an inflatable kayak, but you name it, it's useful for it, for obviously for tyre gauges as well. If you carry an onboard tyre gauge for checking your own tyres, useful for plugging in on that as well. Internal light switch over there which activates this nice little LED light here. A few little cubby hole storage in there. Just get some light there for you. Get 1 or 2 bits in there, and similarly a space under there which allows a bit of storage. This on the left here, obviously you'll probably recognise as the first part of the Aldi heating system. You can see it's a wet heating system, not blown air. Our Combi 6E boiler in our 2021 Mobilvetta has the blown air heating, Truma heating system. This is an Aldi wet heating system, so a bit like your house I guess, radiator fed fluid that comes through, and we'll see once we're in the van. There's a little top up place where you would add to your fluid once every year or two, every couple of years. Then it carries a sort of antifreeze liquid in it as well, and it just needs minimal maintenance just to make sure that antifreeze is going to function properly and is replaced when appropriate. But those are the first bits, and of course that in itself is providing a heat source into the garage space here. What that helps, having a heat source in here, is that just under here you'll see at the back there, behind there, which again we'll see from inside, but that's all the inner workings of your Aldi boiler in there. But this bit here, which is made very accessible, is a safety device that most of the motorhome heating systems have. When the temperature drops to below 4 degrees externally, then it's a defensive system that the system says it's getting cold now, I don't want these plastic pipes to freeze, because if they expand they'll probably burst. or leak, and therefore it releases the contents of your hot water system by popping that switch around, and this little button here pops out. It empties any residual water out of your heating system, therefore stopping frost damage, and then it's a matter of popping into the garage, checking whether it's tripped or not. If it's tripped, that button will be out. If I can recreate it, there we go. So that's recreated again, so it makes it trips around, the button pops out, out goes your water. So it's as simple as turn that back into line, press the button in, and now your system will refill itself from your fresh water tank, if you've got any left and it hasn't all run away in the middle of the night. But hopefully you've got some left. So that's what that is. Because this is a brand new vehicle, you've got a lovely new carpet there, carpeting throughout. You'll see that the van at the moment has just got its laminate floorboards, and this is the central cushion, which as soon as we get inside will make perfect sense when you see how the two single beds at the back get made, of course, into that one big double. You can see it's a really nice thickness mattress, that. And one thing I can say, having done 120 odd nights away in ours in 2 years around Europe and the UK, is that the beds are actually really comfortable, and that's a plus. We have added a little mattress topper to ours, which was about a 60-70mm mattress topper, and that's made it even better, but pretty good indeed. They're obviously fitted with the brackets here, which is ready for you can just see that, the Fiamma logo. That's ready for your Fiamma bike rack, if you so choose. That's something you can chat to the team here at Marquis, who will get that arranged and fitted for you if you're buying new. And you'll see up high level there, that's your reversing camera, which has got twin aspect, dual aspect as well. So one of the ones looks sort of straight down at your back bumper, so you can know exactly how close you're getting to whatever's behind. And the other one just gives you a bit of rearward vision. Very useful if you're not used to driving something that's 7.4 metres. Then those are absolute gold dust when it comes to assist and help. The mirrors, combination of those huge great mirrors, a bit like coach mirrors, together with your camera, and mirrors offside, absolutely great. And it makes actually reversing and parking these things and moving them around pretty straightforward if you take your time and use those resources that you've got. In the other side here, the only thing I was going to show you here was there's a spare wheel kit. This was formerly held, this was held in ours under the front passenger seat, but I think, and we'll check when we go in, but they've put some of the Audi heating controls under that passenger seat, so this has sort of ended up without a space. But this is your spare wheel kit. Big old jack there, all the bits and bobs you need. But while we're on the subject of that, if we look underneath here, you'll see here that there's a distinct lack of any underslung spare wheel. So what we did, and what you can do, because all they supply with you from new is the foam, we've had one blow out on a tyre which picked up a massive piece of metal, which therefore wouldn't have been repairable with foam. So we've now added underslung spare wheel. There are fitting points already under there for the carrier that takes the spare wheel. And do have a look on our channel where I've got a film of when we had that fitted, and then subsequently I fitted the full-sized spare wheel under there, which we now carry all the time just in case we're caught out in the depths of Europe without a spare. And that is just the box from the Xent radio that's fitted in here, and you'll see that in the dash in a second. So working our way along this side of the van, can see here that's your external barbecue point, and that's as simple as this piece just comes off, fits to your barbecue tube, and that's a quick release. Pop it in there, it locks it in place, very quick to connect and disconnect. And as we move back along the near side, this is a little bit more storage here. A clip just there on the side of the van just notches into that, allows you to keep it open. And what you see in there, we'll have a look inside in a second, but that's the where the battery tray is for your habitation batteries. or battery in the singular, but a little bit of extra storage there. Diesel and AdBlue, it's obviously a Euro 6 engine, so takes AdBlue as well. And finally, just up at the front here, again with one of those little bits on the side there that holds the door up, there's your final bit of storage on the outside. So that's the outside of our 86. Let's head on inside and show you what it's got to offer inside. Door mounted bin, and also of course integral in the window there is your blind system there, blackout blinds, lighting as you come in, some nice detailing on the panel there. This is all sort of stitched in, diamond patterned here, but when lit as well, you can see that the mirror as you come in has got some nice inset lighting there, and straight away, even in this daylight, you can see that the inset LEDs are done really nicely. Some blue, some white, but a really nice effect, and that's one part of our 79, K-Yacht 79. We really like the internal lighting, is really well done. You see as well the logo there lights up, and of course just before I jump in, you can see there you've got your fly screen there, full height fly screen that fits in. At the top there, that's a strip light there is your awning light, operated from the control panel, which we'll see inside in a sec. And these two vents, in case you were wondering, those are the vents that are at the back of your fridge freezer. Okay, so let's head on in and we'll start up at the front. Okay, so this, obviously being a 2023 model, has got a slightly uprated dashboard. It's obviously based on the Fiat chassis, so a lot of you will recognise some of the displays that have got the newer vans. Certainly ours though has got the older displays, which a lot of us will know in detail that they haven't changed for many a decade. But now we've suddenly got a little bit more electronics here, so when I fire up the ignition, you see we get a little bit more electronic display, a little bit clearer. Some of the older models with that orange display were a bit difficult to see. Excuse the flashing as my camera starts to adjust to that. There we go, so that's with the ignition on. You can see it's a 9-speed Fiat automatic gearbox, and it's got all of the sort of controls you'd expect, together with additional controls on the steering wheel for the volume and for phone connectivity, for your cruise control. There's the accent unit we saw the box for in the garage. I find that ours is a little bit laggy. I know some of owners who have swapped the accent out and put in different units. Some have even put in a bigger unit, which sort of stands out slightly, gives better sat nav. But this one obviously also has, as all the Fiats do, this sort of built-in display or ability to put, say, a tablet or a phone. There's a little lever around the back there. You just pull that, and it's just a pull-up. There's no secret catches on it. And then this moves to however big it may be, a tablet or a phone or similar, that just locks into there, which is handy to have. And it's also, of course, got, stick that back, that allows you to close that. This is also a bit like a clipboard as well, so you might want to hold a MacBook or something like that, and then it just clicks back into place. That's a little microphone there for your hands-free phone. Blank panel over on the right here. Some I've also seen that own Mobilvettas have put in an additional little sat-nav in there, so an extra screen, wired it in, which is quite a nice spot for a sat-nav. That's just a sort of bit of a spongy decorative finish which can lift off that panel. Along with your speakers down there, see obviously electric mirror controls there, electric windows, and you've also got these integral blinds that slide across, and the front blinds here as well. I can just get those ones out for you. They just pull out from the side there, and then this is a magnetic strip down the side here, which then just allows it to come up against its opposing magnet that runs down the side there. Again, blackout blinds, and it needs a firm needs a little firm push in there. Similarly at the top here, you'll just see hiding way up on the windscreen there. There's your internal windscreen blind. So that's a squeeze together of those two. Slide it down until it comes to the bottom and clicks into place. And similarly then to take it back up is just squeezing those two together and pushing it back up until it clicks into place like that. Blinds are similar place on that one. That's just another one a bit like the offside blind, but it just goes all the way across that window there, and its magnetic strip is against the window there. Storage, drinks holders down there, some other bits and bobs storage wise, and then you've got, if I swap seats, you've got your normal glove box you'd expect in any vehicle. There's also a little cubby up there as well for storage, and the cables here, a couple of cables hiding in here. I use that to to download and update for the XN, so there is a process that you can go through to keep your sat-nav maps and stuff up to date, which can involve just downloading the latest software, plugging it on via SD card, plugging it into there, and away you go via a flash drive. More storage hidden away in here. That's just a press down job, nicely done with, nicely inlaid as well with blue LED. And you can see in there there's another one of those little Aldi radiators, which provides a bit more heat up at the front of the vehicle. And this weird looking thing here, that's a bit like a sort of bleed, as you imagine in your home heating system you are able to bleed the radiators. That's what this little fixture or fitting allows, that's tucked away in there, but useful in here for map books and the like, and other bits and bobs. Yeah, more bits and pieces down there, little storage spaces down on the shelf there. Under the front of the vehicle, those of you who know Fiats will know that just under here is where your engine battery is, and these are sort of fiddly little quarter turn screws that once you've undone them all allows you to lift this cover off and get to your engine battery. You can see as well under the passenger seat there, you can actually see in and there more of the Aldi heating system, and as I said, this was formerly where you would open this up and your spare wheel box, your spare wheel kit box would fill this space under here, and it would lock into that fixture there. So what they've done is they've sort of adapted it, put some Aldi equipment in there, which is nice to have the extra, sort of extra radiator, but it leaves you with that box full of tools, which is pretty heavy, in the garage. So I'll be interested to know what those of you who've got the newer version with your spare toolbox sort of back in the garage, how you manage that, and what you think of that, and whether you've had any issues trying to stow it away when you're on the move. So if we work our way back, this obviously, we saw the carpets in the garage there. This would all be carpeted throughout, which does give a lovely finish. It's an option obviously, so you don't have to have it carpeted if you want a sort of more hard wearing surface, but the carpets are all removable, and therefore removable to wash, clean, do whatever you need to do, but it does make it gives it a really nice finish. And of course it's more insulation in the winter. These are suspended floors, so there's a sort of void underneath the floor, which is all part of why it helps to keep its own heat. We've never had issues with ours really over when we've done some pretty wild and wintry nights in ours in cold weather, and it's always stable, and the heating system's very quick to warm up, be it the Truma that we've got or this Aldi wet system. Very quick to warm up, and with underfloor heating as well, which is under here, then it also makes it a lovely toasty little space when the wind and snow is blowing outside. The table here, apart from having my measurer on it, this is of course adjustable in a gazillion different ways. There's a little clip just here which allows, when that's lifted up, it just, or I should say push down, it just allows it to turn, as you can see there. If I pop round here, there we go, push the lever down, you can see I can then rotate the table. So in terms of your movement from the front cab seats past it, you can get it into a position which is most comfortable. Once it's in position like that, you can then turn this top bit, rotates, so the metal rotates and the top bit rotates, and then you can just lift it up like that, and down it comes there. The front seats obviously both swivel round, so it gives you a really nice sort of dining space with the two main seats at the front and then both these bench seats each side. So let's pull that away, that comes around like that, locks in, and then as I say you can use this lever to adjust this. There we go, turn it around so it'll do a full 90, 180, whatever you need it to do to get it into the best position. Okay, so under these two front bench seats, be it the one this side or this side, you've got one or two other goodies. So let's just move these cushions out of the way. This is a four belted seats vehicle, and therefore you're two at the front, but then the other two are actually here. Now obviously belted seats need to face forward, so you can see tucked away here are your seat belt rolls. And there's a little bit of a transformation that this goes through to allow these seats to become forward facing. So if we just move this cushion out of the way, I'll quickly show you how that works. There we go. So the way that the forward seat goes is that just there is a clip. You pull that, spring loaded, pull that clip out. That allows you to release this back piece of wood. That slides up, heard it click into place there, and then one of those cushions there that we took off obviously just then slips around onto here and becomes the back of the seat, and the seat belt pins are down there. Standard forward facing seat, and to enable your knees to have somewhere to go, this merely hinges up. There's a little magnetic strip on the back of this which just allows it to hold in place, and you can see there's a little locking clip there which just drops down and holds that in place, and lo and behold you've got your forward facing seat. While we're under here as well, I'll just show you, that's that battery tray that we saw when we were in the storage area from the outside of the vehicle. Another heater in there, or another part of the same one that runs up the near side of the vehicle, so plenty of warmth coming from your van. This one's got a single habitation battery, and you've got some of your vehicle fuses are there, and the battery to battery chargers and bits and bobs like that, and the battery charger itself from the alternator is in this little box of tricks here. There are more fuses to the van, and they're a little bit further back underneath the cooker there, but there's a fair few of the ones that run the van. A lot of systems in the van are hiding away down there. Right, let's pop those cushions back and then we'll show you the other side. And incidentally, while I'm just moving round to the other bench seat, just down here you've got a lever there. Just pull that one back slightly, and that allows then, releases the seat, and you can then just spin it round like that. So you've got a lovely seated position. Table obviously moves around like you've just seen. These have got lovely built-in armrests, seats both sides, and an ability to alter the height of them as to where your elbow sits just by using that button at the end there. So it does make for not only a very comfortable dining spot when it's faced this way, but also a comfortable spot when you're up and eating up the miles, heading for your favourite campsite. Fantastic. So over this side, a similar process. Let's just move this back out of the way, and we'll pop those cushions out of the way and show you what's hiding under here. Okay, so under the offside, again we've got that similar process to the other side there, in that this just lifts up. That's got a little magnetic spot on the back of it. Here it just clicks in there and is held in position by that catch down there in the rearward facing position, which allows you then to have this as this remaining bit to be your forward facing seat. Very similar process, however it's already got its own backboard, so it's just a matter of positioning the cushions so that you've got a forward facing seat with its belt. Under here as well you've got hidden away, there's your freshwater tank, 120 litres of fresh. You saw on the outside, immediately next to the electric hookup point, there was your blue cap, which is the filler from the outside. But this is how you get to it from the inside. If, for example, you wanted to pop in some steri tabs or some something to perhaps once or twice a year give the tank a good swish out, put some sterilising tabs in there, put a bit of water in, and then drive around for 10 minutes so it gives it a good slosh around. And then this little valve here, this is connected, as you can see in the tank there. That's connected to this, and once you unscrew that, it obviously lifts that bung out and allows all the water to drain out, which you might do for storage or once you've cleaned it or whatever. Nice and easy access there as well to your water pump. That's controlled by a switch up on the control panel, which we'll see in a moment. And of course, you can see hiding away under there yet another one of those Aldi radiators, so you're certainly going to be nice and toasty. Okay, so immediately above that that big cab area, you've got the first of your double beds. It's held in by this sort of tiny little seatbelt type fitting, which you can just see there, which I've undone. And then it's just on gas struts, so it's just a matter of pulling it downwards carefully so it doesn't suddenly crash forward on you, keeping it under control there. And you can see there a really good sized double bed space. Let's see if I can get a measurement for you on that so you can see how big that is. So you can see there 2 metres, so really good size, over 6 foot, therefore more than enough. Obviously sleeping sideways, more than enough as a double. And then the measurement across there, let's see if we can get that to register. Yeah, 1.27. So great size. Again, you see that good thickness mattress slatted underneath there, and that's as well one that we added a small mattress topper to, which made it even better. And there's some really nice toppers on the market, memory foam type toppers, which still allow the bed to come up and fit properly, but give you a nice bit of extra comfort. And you can see there's a little touch sensitive light up there for a bit of reading light if you need it. And these little hooks here, they supply a sort of mesh type thing which fits across here. I guess if you've got kids or something in there, you don't want to roll out of bed, and it almost it provides that little bit of extra support. There's also a ladder, which at the moment is just at the back here, sat there, that longer ladder there, which just hooks over, as you can see with those little hooks built in, hooks over the side of the bed here, and if you need it, gives you a way up to the bed. Ours is a similar type of setup. We've got a seat here, a drop down bed at the front, and I don't actually use the ladder because the seat is the perfect take-off angle to get into that front bed if you're using it. So the ladder is sort of not absolutely necessary. Right, let's pop that bed back up. So still up at roof level there, you can see more of that lovely inset LED lighting across the tops of the cupboards there. And talking of which, you've got a small cupboard to the left here, which got a little shelf in there, a bit of storage space. But then you've also got above your door here, these are like little sort of document pouches. Got 3 of those. This space also has a lip here, so it's that's a little storage space as well. You've got some storage on the top here, but obviously that is your fitting for your TV, so may not be too much left once you've got your TV on there. And there's of course your sockets for the TV aerial, and also an additional 3-point power source. Over the other side, at roof level, the cupboard's slightly bigger, obviously this side. Internal shelf space there. They've got little integral clips here that you push down to enable you to open it. That ensures that they don't pop open when you're underweight and get shard with all your goodies from your cupboard. In this one, apart from some storage, you've got a couple of things. You've got your TV aerial here, and you've got your aerial booster box there, which when it's running, you can just see shows there a little red LED as well. and that helps to boost the signal to the TVs, of which you've got an option to have a second one. Back here, got the fittings there and the aerial socket in the rear bedroom, so so space for a couple of TVs. This is as simple as loosening off this collar here, pushing the aerial up till it comes to its stop point there, and then using an app, Antenna Finder. I use an app called Antenna Finder, which once you get to your site where you're going to camp for the night, you're just a matter of firing up the app. It tells you where the best signal is, which direction, north, south, east, west, and you therefore, I just generally lay it on the surface so I can see it easily and point the aerial exactly where you need to. These rivets, there's a rivet there and a rivet just there, which are a good guide, because as I turn it there, you can see if I turn the rivet from the sort of 9 o'clock to the midday position, then I've turned the aerial itself exactly 90 degrees. So it's a good guide as to how much you're turning it by using the rivets as your guide. Some aerials, the TV aerial normally sits like that on the top of the van. Some signals require, and they'll tell you on one of the apps, they'll tell you whether you need your aerial that way up as opposed to that way, and it's as simple then as turning this bottom collar, which turns, and that, as I'm doing that, if you could see on the roof, that would be turning the aerial into the vertical position. So that's all that's for. Simple as that. Don't forget to bring it down and stow it when you're about to set off. Don't want you going under a height restricted bridge and losing your aerial. Not done that yet, fingers crossed. Working our way to, well, in fact, let's just, all the windows, all the roof windows are similar. They've all got built in, they've got a full screen built in, sort of blackout screen, and incredibly it's August in the UK and the sun is actually shining, which is a rarity. And then over the other side here you've got your fly screens, and it's as simple as just pulling this lever down, and then you start to turn the lever there, and up she goes. An absolute must where we've just come back from, which was down on the Med in the Verdon Gorge in France, where it was about 35, and you definitely want to have those open, I can tell you. The windows have all got sort of triple catches, which is a sort of good security feature. You press the little button on the window catch there on each one, which allows you then to turn the catch, and it's got gas struts each side, and once you get to a certain position, you see there it closes itself, but as soon as you go a bit further up, that just holds it in position as you go a bit further out. And then each of them has as well built in, there's your fly screen like the ones ahead, and then if you squeeze together these two you get a blackout blind. So obviously at night you might be running with that up there, that clips in there to this little top clip there, job done. And then to release it you just squeeze that together, and that allows it to, there we go, that allows you to drop it down, press those again, which then allows you to lower it. Keep pressing them together, because otherwise it'll reach stop points, and if you carry on trying to force it down then you'll damage your blind. So any movement, just press those two together and take it to where you want your blind to be. The cooker, you can see it's got a really nice twin gas burner, but also an induction hob there. Gas controls there, induction hob there. Obviously in Europe, those of you who travel will know that you can get as low as 6 amp in Europe, and therefore we have run an induction hob with 6 amp hookup. It does run alright, but obviously you wouldn't want to run too much more, say, than the induction hob. Otherwise you'd be in danger of probably tripping the supply to the post that's feeding your hookup cable. And while I'm on that subject, just down here, which is where I mentioned there was some additional fuses, that would be probably one of the fuses that would be in the down position if you had popped the post. You just need to perhaps reset that one, and if that doesn't sort it, then the post you're plugged into will probably have a similar switch, which if you just pop it back up will reset it. you can see that this that the 86, as opposed to our 79's got a sort of oven up here above the fridge, which I've never been a great fan of. So this has got a more, what I'd call a more standard positioned oven, gas oven obviously, grill pan integral, and a nice little setup there. Next to it, again, little catch there to release the cupboard door, and then you've got a slide out cutlery drawer, and these as well slide right out, so you can get pretty good amount of storage in there. Again, they've tweaked this design slightly. Ours has a whole cupboard that slides out, rather than just the individual shelves that slide out. And the one thing I didn't show you in here, which I'll just mention, you can of course see the gas taps there. Those are the gas taps that obviously come straight from the gas bottles, which are just sort of outside, on the outside of the van, and they can isolate the individual gas fed items in here. So there'll be a individual one for the cooker, for the fridge, for the heating system, all that sort of thing. So you could, if you wanted to, isolate them individually. We never do that. I always leave them on and obviously isolate the supply out in the gas locker. And then the sink itself just has these two little bits of timber that lift off. I've seen various mods that people have done. Some have made a little cover that goes over this, which is actually quite handy, you know, down just high enough to get up over the gas burner. Done it in a sort of laminate, nice colour, and it gives a nice sort of bit of extra work surface if you wanted it, and of course it provides a little bit of protection for the glass of the induction and the rest of the hob. Okay, so now over to this side where we've got some of the brains of the system. There you've got, that's to heat your grey water. So obviously if there's a danger of the grey water tank freezing, that's the last thing you want. So that, if you're in very cold weather, can allow you to just put a little bit of heat into the grey water. To the left of it, we've got our main control panel, which is generally touch activated. And you can see there that you've got a couple of pages of switches. You've got on the switches panel itself, you've got the switches for your water pump. We've got our outdoor, or I should say interior lighting on, as you've seen. But then that light outdoors that I mentioned was the awning light. That's activated by just tapping that one. Go back up to the main menu. And there you've got all your other systems. You can have a look at your room climate. You can have see what your batteries are like. Gives you the condition of your batteries. And of course it's got the settings as well for your date and time in general, bits like that. It's also got as well the iNet X app. That's an ability for you to interact with your heating system via your smart device, be it a tablet or a phone, and means that rather than coming into here or into the Audi heating, you can actually mess around with all the settings and switch your heating on and off, water on and off from your smart device. So that's a handy thing. And this, while we're on it, you can't quite probably, oh, you can just see there. If I shield this rare sunshine that we've got, let's just pop that blind over. There we go. You can see that a bit better now. There's your temperature and where you would set your fan and bits and bobs like that from this control. This obviously is running your heating system, hot water, choice there of which energy you use as well, whether it's a combination of gas, or if you're off grid then of course it's gas only. But if you've got hookup, then you might want to choose just to be running on electric, or indeed the quickest way to heat up your water and indeed to heat up the heating generally is to start it on mix 2, which is a mixture of electric and gas, which gives the maximum kilowatt power into your boiler, which is under the floor there, and is the fastest way to heat up the van and all the water. In the cupboard above, you've got your solar. That's your solar controller there. It's a PWM solar charge controller. You can see in fact that it's flashing at the moment, which is a good sign. I know on our K-Yacht 79 we were fitted with a single 100-watt solar panel, and we had the identical Vetch line PWM controller. I've upgraded that. It never seemed to get really good functionality from that. And of course, if you know about your solar, you'll know that the PWM are the less effective controllers. The MPPT are the better ones. So I did an upgrade of going from 100 watt, put 350 watts on the roof of our K-Yacht, changed that to an MPPT controller, and added in the battery box added a inverter, a 2 kilowatt inverter, to allow us to run a lot more off grid. So of course, if you want to know any more about that, then there's 3 films on our channel which show that start to finish fitting process, which I did as a DIY project. So that's your solar anyway in there, which looks as though it's running perfectly well though at the moment. So on the right here we've got your shower, separate shower to the rest of the bathroom space. For bifold doors, sort of just unclip here, obviously keep that on while you're underway, and then unclip it, close the doors off. A little bit of storage there, and then a sort of fully adjustable, slides up and down the pole there, and your shower head there. It's got its own little, of course, roof vent, which you can, this one's slightly different, you just pop that button in, and then you can see there, you can just set it back and notch it into trickle vent, or indeed right back if you want it fully open, and then just clicks back in there. Got its own blind as well, and of course fly screen there. And then over the other side, which of course is a lockable door if necessary. It carries out 2 purposes, this one, because you can see just next to the shower there you've got your other door catch, so this door actually fits into there, or it opens out and fits into there. So it sort of makes this whole rear space here, the bedroom, the bathroom and everything, almost like into an ensuite, which you can, which if necessary you can then lock there. There's your standard toilet. We saw the cassette on the outside there. It rotates, so you can position it any place you want, and just under the base there is your little catch there, that as I move that catch you can see that opens the cassette flap that we saw when we were out on the outside of the van, and just make sure that it's closed when you take the cassette out. It's got integral lighting in here as well, so some sort of mirror lighting, and then a little bit of storage down here, together with nice sort of full-size mirror, and then a little bit more storage. There we go. Okay, so onwards to the back. So here at the moment you can see you've got your 2 single beds, but as you remember in the garage down underneath us, we're obviously directly over the rear of the garage now. There's the rear of the van itself. You've got those cushions. The cushions infill obviously can come into here. This piece here lifts up and hinges. You can just see a couple of little hinges here, lifts up and over. Now that's made easier by the fact that under these mattresses you've got this slatted support, but it's on gas struts, so you can just lift that up and you can see the gas struts working there, and they actually hold the bed in that upward position. This one as well lifts up, and now we can get to our flap there, and that just lifts over. So there we go. And you saw as well, just up and over there, there's a little stumpy ladder, tiny little ladder, which can slot into here, and if you needed it, it provides you a bit of assistance to get up onto that bed. If you want to run it as a full-size double, but you can see that if it's in its full-size position, it makes it an absolutely enormous bed. You can see as well that you've got access from up here to your little wardrobe space here. You've of course got a door there, but you've also got, if I put a bit more light in here, there's your hanging space, hanging rail here, serves your wardrobe, but you've also got some more little storage cubby holes in here, and then right down the bottom there, more space as well. So they've squeezed in quite a lot of storage there, which is dead handy. And you can see there, now we've got the lighting on, some nice Nice lighting in here. Put the additional LEDs on there. Again, you can see them over the top of the cupboard there, recessed under the cupboards, over the top of the cupboards here. Speakers at the back here as well, which feed through from the radio at the front, in the dashboard there. But a very nice space. And if I grab my measurer from the front, we'll tell you the size of that, because you'll see that it does make it into a, get the laser on the back there, so that's 1.879 back to front, and then if we put the measure across there, and then 2.186 going from left to right. So great size, that, absolutely colossal, king size I guess you'd call that. Storage at the back here, again the little lockers up the top there, a little bit more storage, and that one is absolutely identical over that side. Nicely, all that inlaid stitching though there, all sort of fabric type finish, or faux leather as well, is the lighter colour, and that diamond patterning again that sort of echoes throughout the vehicle. Some little document pouches again there, again with the Mobilvetta logo. And last but by no means least, there is your Audi wet heating system top up. You can see obviously that giveaway pink colour, showing there's something lobbed into the water there, bit of antifreeze style liquid, and that's where it's all run from for your boiler. And then down lower here, as well as the wardrobe which we've just seen into, you've got a little bit more storage in there. But the other thing to show you in here is if we pop this out, there's the rest of the Aldi boiler system that we saw that tiny bit of, the frost protection device we saw from the garage, that blue button. That obviously links to this, which is the rest of your heating system, and obviously the big black concertina tube there, that's the one going out to your heating exhaust that we saw on the outside of the van there. But it's of course got a rail there as well, so it's like another little wardrobe space in here as well. Let's pop that back on, and finally over this side we've obviously got a couple of soft close pull-out drawers there. And yet more, and it's not just a small one either, another nice little sort of bucket space down there that goes down towards the floor of the van. So a lot of, I think you'd agree, a lot of handy storage. I've not yet filled ours completely. We've been close with our latest 6 weeks we did in France and Spain, but we certainly were pretty full up there. And the one thing which we've walked over a few times but I haven't shown you is just a little bit of floor storage here. There we go, and you can see as well, now that I've got the lid off, you can see that sort of construction as well. So you've got your standard sort of plywood floor then, but then you've got this very well insulated layer that sits underneath the floor, which allows it to be a well insulated van, and that sort of suspended floor which stops some of that cold air coming up from underneath. We use our sort of floor storage for non-perishables and all that sort of thing when we're travelling for long periods of time. Last but by no means least, we've got your fridge. Great size fridge, freezer on the top here, and same size as we've got in our 79, and a really nice space. That plenty of room. So that is the K-Yacht 86. I'll just step on out, show you some of the detail here on the little board. There we go. There's obviously, I'll put the links in the description below to the website, where you can see a lot more information about the K-Yacht 86 Tekno Line. This is, as I say, a 2023 model, 112,995 here at Marquis. And I have to say, when we dealt with Marquis just under 2 years ago now, they were absolutely excellent in all aspects here at Tewkesbury. Absolutely fantastic team here, great handover. Everything was set and ready for us when it came to collection day, and we were absolutely delighted to to have them as our Mobilvetta supplier. And our thanks to them, of course, for allowing us to do some more filming today of these lovely K-Yachts. So that's the 86. Do have a look across the channel. We've got the K-Yacht 80 and the K-Yacht 59 and the K-Yacht 79 on the channel. So if you want to see a little bit more of what's on offer, then check out those other films. A huge thank you to you, of course, for watching as always. Lovely to have you along, and do check out the channel as well for some films of our travels in the last year and a half, to Croatia, to Austria, to France, to Spain, you name it. We've taken our Mobilvetta all over Europe, so has been not missed a beat yet. Absolutely fabulous vehicle, and thoroughly enjoyed our ownership. Thanks guys, and see you very soon.